Hey everybody, hope things are going well for you. This video is going to be a little bit different. Well, I guess I should say, first off, Keandre Parker of the Parker's Family channel. Thank you for watching this video and tuning in and check it out. This video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually been posting and talking about. Usually those videos are about Carson and gymnastics. This YouTube thing is a hobby for us, so we're working on putting out different types of videos, but it takes us a while to, record, edit, cut, and upload, so it takes us time to get into it, right? But this video is gonna be just a little bit different because I just experienced my very first, what would you call it, like questionable moment with a lead of mine. It's like my team lead, right? Like to a point where I had to set up a WebEx meeting the same day to converse with them about how I felt about what they said to me. Now, it wasn't on no racial stuff, so you can just throw that out the window. But it was on some questionable, or let's say it's a poor choice of words, And I feel like now, since I'm young, I'm just now getting into the workforce, that this probably is going to eventually happen to me. Actually happen to anybody. And the reason I'm making this video is because I know a lot of people who are just now getting into the workforce, or who are probably in the workforce for a while, who experienced this. And I'm kind of interested in knowing how you went about it, so I want to tell you about how I went about it and my advice on it. So in short, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background, right? Started working at my job about a year ago, and at the same time I started, I had a team lead who started at the same time, right? So we're both kind of learning the ropes at the exact same time. Her being of a higher position, she's definitely learning more stuff than I am, right? So she's assigning me my task and my work and everything. But to kind of make it short, I don't vibe well with my team lead, and it's just like how how you have people in your life that you meet that you just don't click with, that like this how they talk or how they go about it, you just like, man, I can do without them or not. So I continue to have the relationship with my lead because, well, she's my lead, she's the person who assigns my task and everything. So I need to foster that relationship, and she's gonna be the person I'm gonna lean on a lot to help grow in my position. So kind of fast forwarding to what happened today. So y'all don't know, but Kai stays at home with me while I'm working. So I've been working from home for about almost a year actually because of COVID. So me and Kiana decided to, for the first 6 months of Kai's life, just for him to stay at home with me, because he doesn't do much, and you may be hearing him in the background. He's like waking up from a nap, but he doesn't do much. He eats, sleeps, and poops and pees, and then repeats, right? So we'd start, we save a lot of money not putting him in school right now. We'll wait a little bit when he's a little more older and active to do that. So of course, we also have a daughter, Carson, which I know if you've seen our other videos. So we're young, we're both 24 with 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 1-month-old, right? And a dog. So we're trying to figure out this whole thing, trying to figure out work and trying to figure out kids at the exact same time, and just make manage of it. Real quick, I know growing up, I remember my mom used to say that her family was her priority. So if there was anything we needed, we would just call her. If she doesn't answer her phone, and call her job, and she would speak to us, because it may be something serious or it may not be anything serious at all, but she would rather know than not know. So I love my mom for that, because that right there instilled into me, because I knew growing up that I know eventually I was going to have kids and I'm going to eventually work, and I may come across situations that those two may collide at each other, right? But I know at the end of the day that my family's priority, and that's how it's going to be no matter what. That's how it should be for everybody, right? So getting into this situation, this morning I am taking care of, I'm getting Kai and Carson ready for school. Well, getting Carson ready for school. Kai is kind of doing his thing, right? And I needed to go handle some family matters, right? Take care of some things, right? So and like with my job, we usually have like a meeting around like 8:30 in the morning, and that's perfectly fine. And since I started back work after part of my paternity leave, I decided that I'm going to start, going to work, try to hop on a little bit earlier, so I can get like some work done before, Carson and Kai wake up. I haven't been super successful, and I'm honest about that, but it's a work in progress, right? So I've at least for a minimum been getting on at least 30 minutes earlier than I was back in 2020. So to me, that's a little bit of progress. You know, I want to get better because I want to try to get on at least like an hour and a half before, so that way I can, you know, take more time off in the afternoon or save the afternoon for more work if I get busy or any sort. You know, just kind of trying to figure it out, balance out my schedule of my life and my work, right? So I haven't been super successful, like I was saying. I've been hopping on still about 30 minutes early, like I just said, right? And like this morning, I had errands and stuff to do, and I couldn't do it at any other time. I needed to do it right now, basically. Well, right now being that time in the morning. It was like 7:30 essentially, right? And being that today we had a meeting at 8:30, so I text my lead. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be hopping on a little late, so because I got some family matters to attend to, right? And she was like, okay, what time will you be hopping on? I'll be like, well, because I had to travel between different cities up here in Missouri. The cities are super close. They're not like in Texas where they're all spread out and stuff. So I was like, I don't know where I'm going exactly, like how long it'll take me to get there. I haven't really looked it up, but I know I had to go do some things. So I gave myself just a buffer of 2 hours because I needed to get Carson ready for school, get Kai situated. He's coming with me as well. Then go drop Carson off. I needed to get gas because I was on like E actually. And then I needed to go handle what I needed to do, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 hours. So I told her, it was around like 7:30 at the time I'm texting her, 7:30 a.m. By the time I'm texting her, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna probably hop on for sure before 9:30. And she's like, okay, I hope y'all get that figured out. And then she says, actually, let me get my phone so I can tell you verbatim what she had said. So she responded back to me. She said, okay, I hope you guys get this all figured out. 9:30 will now work for a start time on a regular basis. So I initially hear that, I initially read that, and I'm like, wait, what? Hold on, wait. That's kind of insensitive, right? Like, I'm to make sure I'm not going crazy. So when I read it, I literally got into my emotions. I'm like, that's a kind of insensitive statement to send to somebody who has family matters to handle. My kind of belief on that situation is that, hold on real quick. Had to get the baby. Y'all don't get to quite see him yet in these. I need you to focus on what I'm saying here. But so I read it and I was like, that's kind of a quite insensitive reply to say to somebody who has some family matters to take care of, whether those family matters are extremely serious or very basic. Like, she's more than aware of that I have 2 young children and that my wife works an inconsistent schedule. So like, there like instances like this like happen. You know, like this hasn't been the first time, you know, like I haven't done it a lot. It's probably only been like 1 or 2 times back in 2020, but like, you know, she's aware of this, you know? So like I said, I read it and I was like, I don't want to respond back because I don't want to make this I don't want to make it bad, or not, like, for a better word, like I don't want to make it worse because I'm about to respond with emotion, right? So I didn't respond yet. What I did is I called my mentor. So if you don't have a mentor at your job, you need to make sure you get one. I actually have 2 mentors I really like lean on. So my mentor, we're gonna call him Mr. B. I called him up, and you know, he's a really high level manager with my job. So you know, I hit him up. And I was like, he may or may not answer, but he answered. And I told him real quick, like, hey, I got this message. And I kind of gave him a rundown on what I had going on that morning, because, you know, I could trust him to that degree to kind of give him the details of what I have going on in my life. So I kind of gave him the rundown, and I was like, hey, my lead sent me back this response. How should I respond back to this? Because I don't want to reply, because I feel like I could escalate the situation into something worse where it can be mitigated if I approach it correctly. So heeding his advice. He was like, definitely, take the time, breathe, don't respond to this with emotions, because that could be the worst thing you could do, to respond back to somebody without a clear head. Then he said, secondly, set up a call with her. And at the time, I kind of misunderstood this, but also set up the call with your manager as well, so he could be on the call as well. And then tell her like, kind of give her no background information on like what led up to this, and give her how you feel about the comment she gave or the response back she gave, and just be very not serious, but be very honest and open about what you're talking about, And then he said, make sure that, like I said, the manager's online is hearing this. So I hear his words. I'll take into account. I was like, okay, give myself a second to breathe. And I text her back. We're texting because it's a lot quicker for me to let her know that I can't do something through text versus me hopping on my computer and sending her an email. I was like, hey, I want to set up a call with you sometime today to discuss these matters. So we do that. She said, okay, this sounds good. I hope everything's going all right. So I go do what I gotta do. I get back home and I hop on a call. I hop on my computer, and the first thing I do is send her the email and set it up for like an hour from the time I hopped on. I hopped on around like 9:15, and I set the call up for like 10 o'clock because that's when she was available and my manager was available. So they were both on a call, and I'm just basically just thinking about it the whole time I'm out, supposed to be focusing on the family matter that I had to attend to, but yet I'm over here reciting to myself how exactly I need to word this so that way it comes out how I want it to come out and my words don't get misconstrued at all. So I'm like, I'm basically turning the music off, turn the air down just a little bit. It's like cold outside, but I have the heater on just a little bit, but I turn it down so I can hear myself think. I'm practicing to myself what I want to say because I want to make sure that my feelings and how I felt about it and the whole situation gets taken into account, and that you hear my words, So practicing it all the time, come back, send a call. So I'm even at 40 minutes, I'm like, I'm looking through my emails and kind of just checking things, kind of getting my work prepared. But in the back of my head, all I can think about is just like this call I'm about to have with my team lead and my manager, right? And like I said, I'm still just mentally preparing, still doing my work, getting stuff done. I just responsible doing that. So we hop on a call, right? So everything's cool, dandy, fine. Manager hops on. They say our opening intro, good mornings and stuff. There we go. So that happens, and I go straight into it. I'm like, hey, since I've been back, it's only been a few weeks. I know I've been working, and I've been hopping on earlier than I have back in 2020. Cause my team lead wanted me to. Well, oh God, I'm sorry. I just can't think of my words right now. Okay, I never experienced it before, so it's like it's trying to relate back to it without throwing emotion to it is kind of hard for me right now. So I was telling him like, hey, since I came back, I know it's only been a few weeks. I have made an effort to make sure that I hop on 30 minutes earlier than what my team lead suggested me to hop on back last year, which is 30 minutes before our morning team meetings. So I was like, at the minimum, I've been hopping on at least an hour before my first meeting of the day. So I know that every day I haven't been super consistent with it, and that's because getting back into the groove of work, having worked in like the past 6 weeks. I took part of my paternity leave. I have a kid at home now, so he's a young kid, so he needs a lot of attention to, But I was like, I'm trying my best to make change, do better. I'm trying to learn. I want to learn, and I'm trying to be here and do my work. This is what I got my offer for to do. So I want to do that, but at the same time, I'm young. I'm a young engineer. I have a lot to learn, and I'm a young guy with a young family. Children are being 3 and 1 month. So I'm saying this. I'm telling you this. So I was like, I understand that this may have been an inconvenience for you, but I'm not going to sit here and say it won't ever happen again, because having young children, you never know what can happen. And by our company's policy, family comes first. Our company is an employee first type of company. And kind of relating back to what my mom said all those years ago, you handle your family business first before you handle any of your work business. So I'm riding on that. having that in my head, and that's what I'm sticking with, I'm using to. So I'm like, hey, I have a young family, their well-being becomes priority, and whenever family matters come up, I need to go handle those, being that is my family. And the comment that you have made, which I just read to y'all earlier, I felt was kind of far left field, like it was unnecessary, and it was very insensitive to the fact that what I was doing was a family matter. So we're going through the call, and it's really just me, like it was like a 15-minute call, and like the first 10-12 minutes is kind of just me and my manager going back and forth, and he was explaining to me that he understands that, you know, with COVID going on, people working from home, that a lot of kids that would usually be in school are at home now, so it's hard to kind of, you know, stay particularly focused on your work or have a consistent schedule when you have children or stuff around. Now, granted, only one of my children go to daycare or school, and the other one's at home, which both my manager and my lead know, as I told them I was going to do that when I first got back, that Kai was going to be at home with me for the first 6 months, and they were okay with that. So he was explaining to me, he was like, because my manager, my lead, worked together on a previous program like years ago, and them being a lot older, they were, you know, they're kind of piggybacking off the fact that, you know, back then, when they worked with the shop, they are usually, you know, at work maybe 5:30 in the morning, having meetings around 6:30 around their desk and whatnot, and that's usually, if they're not there at the meeting, they usually have somebody there to cover. And I totally understand this. From every manager I've spoken to and every mentor I've had up to this point, has kind of, you know, relate to me the exact same thing. So I completely understand. I understand what he was getting at. So, and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I've heard that before. I understand. I completely get it. But I didn't say this, but at the same time, it's a different time where people can work from home. So, and we don't know when we'll be going back into the office, probably for quite a while. So it just, I need y'all to kind of understand and learn that, you know, you can't, it's hard to expect people to, you know, stay consistent to a schedule when you have children around, especially young children, you know, because they're older. So my lead, she doesn't have children, but the other one, I think, has older children around my age. So, you know, their kids are out the house. So it's a lot easier for them to, you know, be on at 5 o'clock in the morning and work their shifts and then be done. Well, different for me, when I'm young, just still kind of getting into the workflow, and then now having a kid to add on to that as well. So my schedule is going to be super consistent. So this is what I'm thinking about. I'm also hearing what he has to say, and I'm also remembering what my mentor is telling me. Like, you know, kind of, you know, be serious about and make sure you explain well on how you're feeling about the situation. So he also goes on, he was like, I completely understand. I get what you're getting at, and I'm trying to show you or explain to you the perspective that maybe your lead was having. Not saying that he's speaking for her, but he's saying this is kind of the perspective that, you know, us in the higher management are kind of, this is what we think of because we're older, essentially. You know, it was different then than it is now. And I was like, I'm perfectly fine with that, I understand. So I kind of just reiterate, I'm like, I know it was not ill-intended, but a spark can start a fire, you know, and I want to extinguish the spark before anything blows up, because if you let anything small slide like this, then it can grow into something bigger later. And I just wanted to, you know, take care of this and let y'all know my feelings on it and how I felt about the insensitivity of your comment. So we're getting closer towards the end of our meeting because everybody's starting to talk to me. So my lead finally kind of pops back in. She was like, I really do apologize for the comment. It was not it was not deterred to, you know, be insensitive in any manner. It just, I wish the success for you within this company as well. And, you know, you just gotta, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember exactly what she said. It's like she apologized for the comment, and it was nothing ill-intended, and she was trying to, you know, she wishes the best for me. And I was like, yeah, I totally understand that. I get that, you know, as my lead, you're trying to help me grow, and as a young engineer, there's a lot of fine details I just learned through experience and whatnot. And she's, you know, like, she apologized again. And I was like, yeah, I just know I wanted to bring this to y'all attention because I want to, you know, make sure that we're seeing or we're understanding each other before we move forward. If we're going to be working with each other for, like, you know, for a while, you know, it's better to, you know, nip this in the bud now before it goes to something bigger. So y'all may have heard this story and probably thought that that is not too bad, you know. But to me, I'm new to, you know, the work life, the workforce. You know, I just got out of college like just over a year ago. You know, I haven't worked over a full-time job and stuff. You know, this was like eye-opening. You know, it's just like, man, I just dealt with my first situation, even though it doesn't seem to be that big of a situation. To me, it was major because you don't, the insensitivity towards my family that hits a notch. You know, it doesn't sit right with me. You know, like I said, my mother had her ideals, and I ran with that. You know, your family comes first, your family's priority, and you make that before anything, even your job. So I wanted to share this with y'all because you may have had this experience before, may not have this experience, and you may not have to deal with this experience. But if you do, make sure before you respond, really think about what was being said from whoever the person that was speaking to you, and make sure you get somebody else's, you know, viewpoint, especially if a mentor or somebody who has experience, before you just up and respond. You want to make sure that you don't want to burn any bridges. You don't want to start making a fire when you're trying to extinguish another one. You know, you want to make sure you're approaching this, you know, smartly, with but with intent as well. Like, listen to me, I want you to hear my voice, but also be careless in how you go about it. You know, so I thank you if you watch this video all the way to the end to hear my story. I just wanted to share with y'all because my first time experiencing it. This channel is about y'all seeing how our family is. So I just want to share with you my first ever, I don't even know what you call this experience, my first real ever work-life balance experience, you know. So thank you if you stuck around this far. Sorry for the weird cut. The camera died before I had a chance to finish out my last video. I will just do my closing remarks on, thank you if you watched this up to this point. Please go check out Carson, We're Going to Gymnastics. I'm up to episode 7 at this point. I think I'm currently recording episode 8, but if you have, please tell me your stories about this as well, because I want to learn. I want to know how to deal with these situations if they come up in the future. Hopefully they don't, but you just never know what works in life. So please share your stories with me, either on my social medias or on here as a comment, because I want to know how your situation was and how you dealt with it. And because maybe I could take some things from yours, you can take some things from mine. You know, so like I said, thank you again. Y'all take care. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, which is kind of weird. But if you want to see more about our family, please subscribe and everything. And y'all take care and have a great day.